Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Thursday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Hope everything is going fine for you, beautiful people, here on Thursday. Good bit of news to talk about today. We are going to start off the program here in a moment with some breaking Pittsburgh Penguins news. They have made a trade, bringing in another defenseman, and what I think is going to be the beginning of a snowball effect leading to the departure of one of the Penguins' core four players. Also, we will talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates. One of their top beat reporters, probably their top beat reporter, who am I kidding, Noah Hiles, giving himself a little bit of punditry in one of his latest news stories, talking about the future of Paul Skenes with the Pittsburgh Pirates. We will talk about what he said here in a moment as well, and the Pirates last night officially being swept by the Kansas City Royals. They have now been swept in back-to-back series after sweeping back-to-back series at home. All of that, and much more here later on in the show. First thing is first, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like, share, and comment on this live stream. You can share it, that help grow the number of viewerships on here. And also comment any thoughts, opinions, questions that you have in the live chat, and I could pop those up on the screen at a moment's notice, and we can interact that way. Like I said, we are going to start off today with some breaking Pittsburgh Penguins news, and we have a trade. Here comes the alert. Yes, this about 2 hours ago now. It took a little while for it to officially be confirmed by the top NHL insiders, but the Penguins, they have made a trade with the Dallas Stars, and they are acquiring defenseman Matt Dumba, as well as a 2028 second-round pick in exchange for Vladislav Kolyachonok. There's the official deal right there from the Penguins themselves. That deal made official at 4 p.m. today. But like I said, about half an hour before the trade was made official, I think Elliot Friedman said that there was an issue notifying one of the players, whether that was Dumba or Kolyachonok, about the deal. So it did take a little bit for it to be finalized, but this is the exact move that you love to see at this point if you are Pittsburgh Penguins fans. Team is in the middle of the rebuild. You then go, especially this is Kyle Dubas, this is one of his specialties, excuse me. You go to these teams, they are up against the salary cap ceiling. They are looking for a way to make room so that they can continue improving their teams. The Dallas Stars, they are certainly one of those teams. They just paid one of their top forwards, Mikko Rantanen, this offseason, and they still have to pay one of their other top forwards as well, in Jason Robertson. So they needed to move some money off the Bucks. Matt Dumba, 30-year-old defenseman, making $3.75 million, so $3.75 million. He is in year 2 of a 2-year deal. They get him off the Bucks, and at the same time, the Penguins, it's not like they're just going to take on that money for free. They get a 2028 second-round pick back in the deal as well. The only thing going to Texas in this situation, the Penguins do not send a draft pick back their way. Instead, they send Vladislav Kolyachonok. If you remember him, he was the defenseman that the Pens brought in, I think, off waivers, if I remember correctly, from the Utah Mammoth at some point last year. 24-year-old. He is in the last year of his rookie contract, making $775K per year. So typical Kyle Dubas specialty trade, especially with this team in a rebuild. You take on an aging, not what they once were asset who's making a lot of money. You also get a good draft pick back in return, and you can send them pennies in return. In this case, a AHL, NHL bouncing defenseman who isn't going to be a part of your team long term anyways. So good trade by Kyle Dubas, both men in the last year of their deals. And just more on the trade here. The Penguins now acquiring that 2028 second round draft pick. That now makes 29 draft picks over the next 3 NHL drafts through 2028. And this is a team, they are loaded for bear right now. When they get good again, hopefully it, starts at this point next year when they tear this thing all the way down as they're in the middle of doing right now. Hopefully they get better when Gavin McKenna is here, praying that happens someday. This team, they have a ton of draft picks to either draft players or use them to get pretty much any asset that they want. So like I said, they're adding this 2028 second round pick now. That is 29 draft picks over the next 3 NHL drafts, 17 selections in the first 3 rounds, and now they have 7 second round picks over the next 3 years. So 7 of those 17 top 3 round picks, 7 of those in the second round. In next year's draft, the Penguins, they will hold their own second rounder as well as one from the St. Louis Blues and Winnipeg Jets. Then they have the New York Rangers second round pick in 2027. And on top of it, now today, acquiring the Dallas Stars second round pick in 2028. Like I said, this is a fantastic trade for the rebuild. And honestly, it's still a long summer to go here. I will gladly take 1 or 2 more of these types of trades where you bring in someone who is making a crap ton of money that other teams do not want. You bring those guys in, you get good draft compensation as well, and you don't have to trade off that much, a big asset of your future. The rebuild going strong. This is another addition to that. I mean, hell, just looking at this team right now, this past draft, like I said, 13 draft picks. They nailed on a bunch of them, in my opinion. Ben Kindle, who just signed his rookie deal the other day, he was the first of 3 first-round picks in this year's draft. Bill Zonan and Will Horkoff. I have high hopes for those guys as the other 2 first-round picks. Peyton Kettles was a second-round pick, tall, sturdy defensive defenseman that I like, and a couple other draft picks as well. And looking at what's already in the prospect pool, other than this year, you got Rucker McGroarty, Ville Koivunen, Harrison Brunick, who I think you're going to see in the NHL this season. I'll explain why here in a moment. But Kyle Dubas, now I think we're 2 years in to the path forward for this organization being completely and totally clear. We are going into a rebuilding phase, probably still going to be in a rebuild, 2 years from right now as well, unless, they hit that lottery ticket in Gavin McKenna and the odds fall in their favor. But things are going in a good place right now. I like the additions that we have in the prospect pool. Also, these draft picks, they will be great assets, like I said, whether they use them to draft players or as trade chips in the future. A couple other things about this deal. This is sort of a coming home party for Matt Dumba. He was drafted in 2012. The draft that year, back when it was, all centralized. It wasn't decentralized like what it was this year. More news on that, by the way, later in the program. But back when the NHL draft, you had general managers and coaches and owners of all 32 teams in the same arena. Dumba, he was in the draft in 2012. That draft took place in Pittsburgh. So back in the town where he was drafted, I'm sure that will make Matt Dumba feel good. Sort of like Matt Grzelcyk last year. I think Grzelcyk, he was a 2012 draft pick as well, getting his name called in Pittsburgh. So similar story here. Also, I just said why I would assume that Harrison Brunick, the Penguins' top defensive prospect, why he would be in the NHL at some point this year, is that I think this Matt Dumba trade, this is a clear sign indicator that come hell or high water, Erik Karlsson will not play another game as a Pittsburgh Penguin. Just looking at their defensemen right now, you still on the left side of your defense, left shot defenseman, you got Ryan Graves. You got a young, inexperienced Owen Pickering who played a little bit in the NHL last year, but you wonder whether he's still going to be in the AHL or, get an extended look up in the bigs this year. Parker Wotherspoon, who you just signed to a what was it, 2-year or 1-year deal in free agency. I think it was a 2-year deal. And then below those three guys who I would count as your top three left shot defensemen right now, you got Ryan Shea, who's been here for a couple of years now, and a young, let's see if we can fix this guy project in, I believe, Alexander Alexeyev. However, on the right side, it is stacked. Right now, Chris Letang, Erik Karlsson. Then you go to Dumba. He is right now your third right shot defenseman. And then below him, you still got a guy who, I mean, could be your seventh defenseman technically, where he watches most games from the press box, but still, I would like to see him on the ice a bunch. Connor Clifton, who you picked up at the draft. So right now, 4 NHL right shot defensemen. I think that, like I said, Karlsson, he's going to be on the move here soon now. I think this is the Penguins getting a suitable number 2 who they then can flip at the deadline. That's another aspect of this trade. Dumba, even though he's making almost $4 million, he's in the last year of his deal. If he comes to Pittsburgh, sort of reclaims some of his old mojo, his old production, you best believe that Kyle Dubas is going to maybe, hold on to a couple $1 million so that he can facilitate a trade. But you might see Matt Dumba flipped for a third-round pick, at least, at next year's deadline if everything goes right. So I like the deal a lot. You're picking up an older asset with a big contract, which, hey, you're not competing right now, so you can take on all that money. You also got a second-round pick, and you're probably going to get more picks out of this deal anyways, because Dumba's going to get flipped at the deadline. So, like the trade from Kyle Dubas, I think that this is a trade that you want to see more of right now, especially with this team rebuilding. And, yeah, not too many critiques or criticisms of this trade. Good job, Kyle Dubas. Let's go to the comment section real quick. Freight Train, welcome back, Freight Train, by 2026. What do you mean by that, by 2026? I did not see your comment until now, so I think it has something to do with this trade. But yeah, maybe I think you're referring to when the rebuild will end, hopefully by 2026, because when Gavin McKenna, if the Penguins can somehow have lightning strike 3 times, where they go from Mario Lemieux to Sidney Crosby to the next one, and in Gavin McKenna, I will be cool with that. Okay, I see you there, Freight Train Skenes out. That is actually perfect, because that was what I was going to talk about next. No need for me to, try to find a transition here, but yeah, it is what I wanted to talk about next here. That was going to be the first item on the agenda today, had this trade not gone down in the NHL. But now we do get to talk about it. Paul Skenes, could his days be numbered as a Pittsburgh Pirate? That very well could be the case. Noah Hiles, he covers the the Pirates for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He today came out with what he calls a Pirates mailbag, where fans submit their questions and he answers them. And the top one at the top of his article here was, will Paul Skenes, how long will he be here? That was something along the lines of that question. Hiles answered it, and this is him not reporting anything. This is him giving punditry, giving his educated opinion, because he is pretty much the closest media, news reporter source closest to the team. I think he's the best, in my opinion. No offense to all the other ones that I follow. They're great too. But Hiles, he is the go-to guy you want to go to for Pirates news right now. And this is him giving his educated opinion. His answer to a question about CBA negotiations and if the Pirates could be possibly trading Paul Skenes in 2 years, just like they did Garrett Cole so many years ago. Hiles answered here, if I had to make a bet right now, I think 2026 will be Skenes' final full year in Pittsburgh. He then went on to explain that this doesn't mean that they are going to trade him by this after next season. He's mentioning it as the 2027, collective bargaining agreement negotiations are set to go on. The MLB might go into a lockout. And as soon as that lockout ends, whether, a salary cap, say, is put in place or not, you could see the Pirates at that time ship off Paul Skenes anyways. Because, let's be honest, the MLB, baseball is broken. That's just simple there. Baseball is broken. Paul Skenes, the MLB, they don't want him to be here that long, quite honestly. They want him out of here as soon as possible. They want him to go to a big market team in Los Angeles, California, San Diego, something like that. Chicago even would be fine for them. But, and don't think that this is just me BSing here. The commissioner of the league, Rob Manfred, who needs to go, he said it himself. What was it last year? The World Series, you had the Dodgers and the Yankees, and he said, "Oh, it's good for the sport when you have these two high market teams in, the dance, the final dance." And he doesn't care about the, lower teams, the bottom feeders, like your Florida teams or, the Pirates, the Reds, those guys. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's a shame that I want to say this about Heil's piece. He's probably right. Right now, from all that I've heard, all that I've seen, the Pirates, they have no interest whatsoever in, like, right now, even negotiating with Skenes about a contract extension, maybe buyout a couple years of his free agency, which, if you're Skenes, why the hell would you want to, sign, be here longer than, what it is? Because he's got a $500 million paycheck coming his way someday. And why would, you waste your talent here in an organization that doesn't care for winning? So, yeah, that's what Heil said. Skenes probably going to be gone here in 3 years like we all expected, and might as well go see him some point this year, next year, because this team, nothing that both this team and Major League Baseball has done over the past decade should give you any glimmer of hope that this generational pitcher, one of the best pitchers that we will ever see in our lifetimes, the game, the sport itself, and the team, they have given you no reason to believe that Paul Skenes is going to be here beyond his rookie deal. And that sucks. That's why I say baseball is broken. Like, let's compare it to the NFL here. The NFL, let's go to last year. Now, I know Paul Skenes was the first overall pick, but this is a second overall pick. Jaden Daniels went to the Washington Commanders. Instead of, in the Commanders, they have been a pretty, bottom of the barrel franchise for a while now. Let's say that, over there in the NFL, you're not hearing anything about Jaden Daniels. They're, propping him up as, oh, this is going to be the next great quarterback. He is going to be the franchise guy for the Commanders for the next 10 plus years. Meanwhile, over here in baseball, if a small team gets a good thing, best believe that good thing is going to be taken away from them just so the rich can get richer. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what to say anymore about this ball club or baseball. Baseball is the most one-sided. The strong get stronger, the weak starve sport in the game. And I'd like to hold out hope that this collective bargaining agreement in 2027 in December of next year, I hope something good comes of it that could, maybe give the Pirates a hope of, keeping Skenes here longer or at least winning sooner. But I don't know what to think of it. I've heard things like they're going for a lockout. Certain owners want a salary cap. Well, certain owners don't. I'm even saw something this morning that from Evan Drellich, he's some sort of writer for The Athletic, saying that he thinks MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred is pushing for a salary cap. Yet, like I just said, Manfred said, oh, it's always best when your two top teams, your two most biggest teams are in the final dance. Like, I don't know what to believe. Is keeping Paul Skenes here and winning too much to ask? Apparently it is. And everything that us fans here in Pittsburgh that we are starving, craving for, that we quite frankly deserve. We deserve winning after going through 6 years of a rebuild now with an idiotic general manager who, by some freaking moronic stance by the owner, is still here. And even before that, this team hasn't won a damn thing. We're holding on to for the past, what is it? My entire lifetime, all we're holding on to is a wild card win. Just, I don't know. Us Pirates fans, we deserve winning, and we're no closer to getting it, even with this golden goose in our possession. Because the MLB, they are just looking to get him to the biggest cash cow organization, and we are left with nothing in the end. Just more rebuilding, more losing, more promises, hollow promises, that is, of better days to come that will never come. So I'm glad you brought that up there, Freight Train, because this is just, I'm speechless on it. It's impossible for this fan base, this Pirates fan base, to have anything nice and sustain it, both by their own doing, Bob Nutting being a cheap owner, having a general manager who doesn't know the difference between his ass and the hole in the ground, who couldn't find talent if talent not just slapped him in the face, but knocked his teeth down his throat. In the MLB, a league where, because they throw all their money in a pot together and they distribute it evenly, but yet you can still have these big market teams with endless advantages over the smaller guys just continue to buy up the sport. And they're going to do it again for Paul Skenes and take away possibly the most transcendent player to ever put on this team's uniform. It's ridiculous. Baseball is buying itself out. Let's just hope that they can realize it and that some miracle happens with the Bucks where they can actually keep Paul Skenes for more than 4 or 5 years. So that's my final stance on it. Also, if you're seeing stuff like, I know this Hiles piece saying that he'll be gone by 2027, you still have people out there, even though the Pirates, I think, have gone out of their way to get this point across. You'll still see people out there, these ESPN big market medias trying to, pretty much speak something into existence. You'll still see, is Paul Skenes going to get moved at the deadline? He's not. As a matter of fact, I just saw some idiot who covers the Yankees say that, the Yankees are going to give a pair of top 10 prospects. One of them I actually like, Spencer Jones. He's an outfielder who also plays first base. He's hitting bombs in AAA. He's just blocked by the talent in front of him. But throwing in Spencer Jones and some other kid, Bryce Cunningham, who I never even heard of, probably years away from the big leagues. And also they want to throw their garbage in on top of it. Anthony Volpe, their shortstop, who is having himself quite a season, all for the wrong reasons. And they're saying, that should be enough to, get the Pirates to do a deal. Just, it's unbelievable. It's almost as bad, and the reason I say almost is because, no, actually, you know what? It's worse. In hockey, especially here in Pittsburgh right now with the team rebuilding, we're seeing all these different things. Should Sidney Crosby get traded to go somewhere else and finish his career on a contending team? This has actually surpassed that. It's been a little while now, and it's mainly, for hockey, for Crosby, it's mainly the Canadian markets. They want to bring their folk hero Crosby home. But in the MLB, it's even worse. I mean, hell, it's bad. It's bad when, as soon as Skenes got drafted 2 years ago, 2 years, 2 days ago, Skenes got drafted by this team. And almost immediately since then, it's been, all right, when's he going to become a Yankee? When is he going to become a Dodger? You know that there's a significant problem with your sport. I don't care how profitable it is, because it's so lopsided. Something significantly is wrong when those, not jokes, they're not jokes, when those are actual thoughts. As soon as that selection was made 2 years ago. Freaking ridiculous. I grew up, played baseball, but more and more beginning to hate the sport, both because the Pirates, which, hey, my sister, she's starting to follow the Boston Red Sox. I don't even blame her, honestly, because she can go and maybe find a team that could have a little bit of success in the future. Instead, be like us, me, and other Pirates fans, where we are locked into the black and gold until we're dead and cold in terms of baseball. We keep coming back for the same torture year in, year out. Excuse me, they're a bit of a dry mouth. So what a rant for the Pirates will do for you. As a matter of fact, that's a pretty good example right there. This team, this fan base, we've pretty much like figuratively walked through a desert for like 3 miles in 100-degree heat. And we have this water bottle, but say this hand is ownership. The ownership, the bottle is Paul Skenes, doesn't know how to use it, or when they go to, pour it in their mouth, they dump it off to either side here. And then baseball, they're going to say, oh, you just walked through the desert for like, what, 2-3 years now? We got this guy over here who just came out of his air-conditioned condo. He's been outside in this for a minute now. Give him this water bottle and let him drink the whole thing. That's baseball for you. This is Paul Skenes. The hands here are the Pirates. They don't know how to, wet their whistle. In the MLB, they'll come and take the water bottle away at the first chance they get. Sick of it. If you thought that talking bad about the Pirates was done, you're wrong. Last big story here for today before we get into more Pittsburgh news story. Of course, like we all said on the channel, the Pirates now 0 for 6 on this road trip. Last night, they wrapped up their 3-game set against the Royals. Game started off, as you would expect, Royals jumping out to a lead, and via the long ball, Salvador Perez, their longtime catcher, which he's always carried a big stick. He made it 1-0 with a solo shot off of Bailey Falter. Then Jack Caglione, which, man, wouldn't the Pirates kill for a player like that? College bat who got fast-tracked to the big leagues. I know they're kind of fast-tracking Connor Griffin to the big leagues, but still, though, you need bat help now, like yesterday. So Jack Caglione, he then absolutely crushed one that made it 3-0. By the way, speaking of Jack Caglione, college kid who got to the big leagues in no time, the draft is coming up here for the Bucks. There are maybe 1 or 2 other players in this draft that I would take that are not college players. Other than that, you better, the Pirates, if they are serious about winning with Paul Skenes, at least if they want to show a tiny bit that they're serious about it, they will do what the Royals did last year. Draft a Caglione-type college hitter, let him start in Double-A, quickly move to Triple-A, and then get him to the big leagues at some point next year. I know they got Connor Griffin a couple picks after Caglione, but still, they need help quickly in the worst way. They then were able to tie up the ball game last night. We had bases loaded with no outs, and the Pirates surprisingly did not spoil that opportunity. O'Neal Cruz hit a ground out that scored a run, and then Ke'Bryan Hayes continues to raise his little bit of trade stock. 2-run single down the left field line that tied the game at 3. And then Isaac Mattson, who has been Donnie Kelly's pretty much go-to guy in tight spots in late innings for the second game in a row, or at least for the second time in the series against the Royals. He gets one hit out on him. Salvador Perez strikes again. First pitch he saw from Mattson, that made it 4-3, and that was the ball game. So the long ball, I think, from a team in the Royals who they have had issues, getting the ball out of the yard for most of this season. Who knew that you just have to play the Pirates to shake whatever funk your team is in? They hit home run after home run this series, and the Pirates, typical, had no answer for it whatsoever. They got shut out in a game this series. I think the only other series, the other two games of this series, they scored 3 or 4 runs. So, typical. After sweeping 2 good teams in the Mets and the Cardinals, they go out to Seattle, get their doors blown off by the Mariners, a good team out there, and then they go to Kansas City, which I think is a better team than what their record shows, and they get swept by them. So now 0 for 6 on the road trip so far. They're off tonight, and then they will wrap up the first half of the season before the All-Star break, beginning tomorrow against the Minnesota Twins. By the way, just some stats on the Pirates. They are officially the worst road team in the MLB. They are now, when they score 4 plus runs, the Pirates are 25-12. When they score less than 4 runs, they are now 13-44 as a team, averaging 3.39 runs per game. That is the lowest in the MLB. That's, of course, from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Another reason why they are one of the worst road teams in the league. They now, on this 6-game losing streak, all of them away from PNC Park, the Bucks are now 12-36 on the road this year. They have won nothing on the road this year. And the Colorado Rockies, 11-36, they're nipping at their heels to overtake them in road wins this year. Absolutely insane. 3 road losses for every road win this year for the Pirates. One of the worst road teams in the big leagues. And by the way, it's not like the Colorado Rockies are a superpower here. The Pirates are in the same company as them. The Rockies, they're still on pace to have the worst record in MLB history this season. So, typical Pirates. The most Pirates past couple of weeks, honestly, that you could expect. They get everybody's hopes up. You blow out the Mets. You then shut out the Cardinals. Then you go on the road, get swept without scoring a run by the Mariners, and you lose to the Kansas City Royals, which, by the way, the Royals, I know I've said this before about the Cleveland Guardians. The Royals, they are who the Pirates should strive to the best of their ability to be. They got Bobby Witt Jr. He's a shortstop out there. They're paying him big money. He's their meal ticket. You also got Paul Skenes. He should be your meal ticket. Why not sign him to a big contract, just like the Royals, who are no superpower in terms of money spending? Be like them. Pay your top guy. Build around him smartly with draft picks and veterans on reasonable deals. But the Pirates, they can do none of those things right. And they will forever be in the basement of the MLB. So, that's all I got to say about Pirate Talk today, because nothing's going to change with this team, and we are just forced every summer to sit through it. And now, of course, to rain on everybody's parade even more. It's a nice steady rain, all the time for the Pirates, but now giving his opinion that Skenes will not be here after next season. Next season will be his last full season as a Pirate. That steady rain has turned into a downpour, like a cow peeing on a flat rock. So, going to get into some more Pittsburgh news here in a moment, but one more time, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like and share this live stream, as well as comment in the live chat, get any thoughts, opinions that you have there, just like Freight Train did earlier. Looking here on Twitter, seeing if there is any new pieces of information out there. just seeing more on the Matt Dumba trade. As a matter of fact, I just got a notification ESPN finally putting out there the trade as well. Seeing here, NHL didn't know the Winter Classic is heading to Florida this year, 2026. Winter Classic in Florida, the Panthers and the Rangers. Okay, we are going to continue now, ladies and gentlemen, with some more Pittsburgh sports news. These are pretty, random Pittsburgh news stories. Some things that we cannot get too in deep into. But we will start with some extra Pittsburgh Steelers news. There has been a TJ Watt sighting, not signing. No TJ Watt signing yet. And it doesn't look like that there is going to be one for a little bit. Watt posting to his Instagram yesterday, I think for the first time in a while. I'm not entirely 100% sure, but this might be the first time that he's posted something to his Instagram story since he posted the infamous deuces, 2 fingers up, peace out, I'm out picture earlier this offseason. But posted on his Instagram yesterday a picture of him and his wife, Danny. They are on vacation, or at least they were. They took a spontaneous, I think, week-long vacation trip for their 3-year wedding anniversary. So, hey, congratulations to them on that. But doesn't look like, looks like TJ is out doing his own thing, keeping things loose, probably keeping his mind off of football. And I don't know whether to take this as a good thing or a bad thing. Seems like a deal is not close right now. There have been rumors and reports that the sides still are not close to finalizing a deal, even though some have speculated that the Steelers are prepared to give him the money he wants. But I think it might be a term issue. A number of years on the contract could be what's holding this whole process up. So at least we know that TJ is alive and doing well. We'll see now that we are under 2 weeks now until the Steelers begin training camp. As a matter of fact, they posted today 2 weeks till the first training camp practice. They will have reported to training camp yesterday by this time, 2 weeks from now. So we'll have to wait and see what Watt does, if he'll show up to St. Vincent College in Latrobe, if he'll show up in practice, if he'll show up and, do his own individual thing off to the side, if he'll sit out the first couple of days of practice and not show up, or if he will not show up at all and just take this thing all the way down to possibly risking missing a couple of games of the regular season. It's not like he's like he needs to be out there practicing every day. I think, for his type of player, hard motor guy who always, gives 100%, or at least, seems like he's giving 100% all the time. Less, practicing this off season and more of, hey, now you can start, being TJ Watt closer to the regular season. I'm cool with it. Less work with him is better. Gets him to the regular season more fresh and healthy. But the question is if he will stay in football shape now. I would like to think he is, in the middle of a contract negotiation, but hoping that something gets done here soon. At least we know that TJ is alive and well, just went on vacation. Also, speaking of the defensive side of the ball, how about moving from a guy in TJ who's looking for a new contract? Let's talk about a dude who got a contract last year, Cam Hayward. The NFL, they have begun ranking their top 100 players in the league right now, and Cam Hayward, he was a part of the first batch of players to be announced in the top 100. I think they start at 100 and work their way all the way down to 1. I think they go by intervals of 20, so you'll see 100 to 80 probably out there right now, and Cam was a part of that group. He came in as the number 83 best player in the NFL right now. Now, I going to be honest, I did not see the rest of the list of what is out there right now. Who's above him, who's below him. But 83, doesn't that kind of feel a little low? I mean, honestly, he got paid last year and had probably one of the best years of his entire career. He by far was the best player on the Steelers defense last year, showed that his groin injury that he played through 2 years ago is completely healthy. And, even though he may not be getting the sack numbers that he once did, still one of the best defensive linemen at getting his hands up, batting down balls. You'll constantly see the guard or offensive linemen, plural, that take him. You'll constantly see the pocket getting collapsed by him. So, 83 seems a tiny bit low. Maybe would have had him somewhere in the 60s at least. But hey, still a top 100 player. I think he is gonna have another good year where he will be in the top 100 again. Let's just hope we get some more good football ahead from Cam Hayward, the number 83 player in the NFL right now. Few other loose Steelers stories here. Two more, actually. The Steelers, they did make it official today. We have kind of speculated this for a while since he posted on his Instagram that he was getting this, but Jalen Ramsey officially will be wearing number 5 for the black and gold. The Steelers posting today digit drop at Jalen Ramsey shows him wearing the number 5. Ramsey, of course, a couple weeks ago posted the picture of a jersey with his name and the number 5 on the back of it. So the punter, Steelers current punter Cameron Johnson, giving up number 5 to the vet Jalen Ramsey. Still, we do not know. Did Johnson, maybe get a, couple K thrown his way or not? We'll have to wait and be on the lookout for that story. Last thing here for the Steelers. This here from Steelers Black and Gold Nation. This was posted on Instagram by Brady Smigiel. I probably butchered his name. Anyway, Brady Smigiel, Florida State quarterback commit. He is being tutored by none other than Aaron Rodgers. So Rodgers, I guess, doubling up his mentorship commitments here, said that he was going to help out Will Howard with the Steelers. Now, according to these photos here from Brady Smigiel's Instagram, Rodgers on the beach with Smigiel seemed to be running gassers there. And then Rodgers maybe giving the FSU commit maybe some pointers on his drop and foot placement, something like that. So interesting that Rodgers, not sure how long or how often he has been mentoring Brady Smigiel, but as long as it doesn't take away from his commitment to the Steelers and playing well on the field and grooming along Will Howard as he goes, I'm cool with it. Moving into some extra news here for the baseball team. Does everybody remember the Bucco Bricks debacle? If you are, if this is new information to you, the Pittsburgh Pirates, for the longest time outside PNC Park, the sidewalk was made of what we called Bucco Bricks. They were bricks that made up the sidewalk, and on them had etched messages from season ticket holders, people who made donations to the team to help build PNC Park, longtime fans who wanted to leave mementos for, future family members. Anyways, earlier this year, the Bucco Bricks in the offseason, they were taken out and pretty much thrown away. Instead of the Pirates taking their due diligence, carefully digging up the bricks and offering those who own the bricks them back. The Pirates pretty much dug them up, put them in trucks, and shipped them off to a recycling plant where they got pretty much destroyed, reduced down to pebbles. And that made fans upset, very upset. That was one of many PR, public relations nightmares for the Pirates earlier this season, on top of the whole Clemente Wall advertisement thing, the fan falling from the stands, the usher beating another fan with his belt. But with this Bucco Brick situation, the Pirates did say that they were working on an alternative, I guess, memorial to, keep these Bucco Brick messages and family heirlooms, keep those things still up in some way at PNC Park. And we figured out what that was today. The Pirates released a statement today that they have plans to have bronze fan messages on display of the walls outside PNC Park around the stadium that will have the messages of the Bucco Bricks. So the official release here from the Pirates themselves. The Pittsburgh Pirates today presented the final plans for the installation of a commemorative bronze plaques at PNC Park, adorning the messages originally displayed at the ballpark as part of the Bucco Bricks program. The presentation to the Sports Exhibition Authority of Pittsburgh was given by the Pirates president Travis Williams and included the final designs of the plan developed by the Pirates and renowned architect and urban planner Jeanette Marie Smith and her colleagues at the Canopy team. So the SEA approved the plan and will be reviewed with the City of Pittsburgh's Arts Commission later this month. So the Pirates, it's not up yet, but that'll probably be, if I had to guess, assuming that all goes well, that'll probably be another off-season project. So the Bucco Bricks, instead of fans, just simply picking up their bricks and taking them home, the fans, they will now be, when they go to PNC Park, be able to go down to the ballpark and look on the walls outside of PNC Park and see these plaques displayed everywhere with their Bucco messages on them. Moving on here, a couple other Loose Pirates news stories. Monday night, Home Run Derby. We know O'Neal Cruz is in it. We now know that 2 more participants for the Derby have been added. Junior Caminero, he is the third baseman for the Tampa Bay Rays, 21 home runs this season, 5 more than O'Neal Cruz at 16. And this one just announced a couple of hours ago, Brent Rooker, the big power bat designated hitter for the Athletics. I almost said Oakland Athletics, but the Athletics. It'll be the first home run derby for Brent Rooker. I'm sure it is the home run derby as well for pretty much everyone in this field except for Ronald Acuna Jr. and maybe Byron Buxton. I can't remember if Buxton was in a home run derby before or not, but aside from Ronald Acuna Jr., all first time home run derby participants, and 2 more added today. Last thing here on the Buccos, even though I said earlier about MLB being broken and Paul Skenes probably going to get shipped off here in 2-3 years, at least we know he's probably not going to go to the New York Yankees. Who am I kidding? He probably still could go there. But I'd like to think that he is not going to be in Yankee pinstripes someday because of this story. I originally saw this from Fox News, but as you know, Paul Skenes and his famous influencer and gymnast girlfriend Livy Dunn, apparently they were in the process, or at least Livy was, of purchasing an apartment in New York City. Now, why is this newsworthy? Livy, she did say that this was going to be her first real estate purchase. However, this apartment was owned at one point by none other than Babe Ruth. Yes, that Babe Ruth. Don't know what other Babe Ruth you could be thinking about. But Babe Ruth, this was his apartment, which I'm shocked, like, how the hell is that building still standing that has, the Sultan of SWAT? How old is that building? Why is it still here? But anyway, Livy, she was looking to buy this apartment that was once owned by Babe Ruth, and it looks like the deal was going to be finalized and that her and probably Paul were going to, have that place to live. But apparently the board, the NYC co-op board of that apartment building voted to block Livy from buying the apartment. And she said she didn't know why, but doesn't know if it had something to do with, her being an influencer, having an apartment that once belonged to the greatest baseball player of all time. Who knows? She doesn't know either, but just thought that was weird and newsworthy, and hopefully Paul Skenes will not be a Yankee now. Hopefully, it sucks that Livy didn't get to buy, I think she said was, her dream place. But maybe that'll anger Paul or Livy enough to, hey, maybe we, should think about staying in Pittsburgh instead of going to New York. They did, not want us after all. So thought that was a bit odd of a news story, but hey, does relate to the Pirates, ties back to them some way. Last loose news story here for the day. I think I mentioned this earlier, but it's for the NHL. Doesn't have anything to do with the Penguins right now, but this from Cam Robinson. He is the content director of EliteProspects.com. They do a lot of work on the NHL draft. NHL GMs have voted on re-centralizing the NHL draft. The final results, it appears that the majority have voted to keep the draft decentralized. So instead of a centralized draft, like it used to be before, where all the teams, they're all together in one building, you can have face-to-face conversations. Instead, unfortunately, looks like the NHL is going to stay decentralized, like the NFL and NBA and MLB, where it'll be a long-ass process for the draft, and you'll have a 4-hour first round just like this year's draft. So I felt that was relevant. Be ready for longer NHL drafts moving forward. 6 of you in here right now. Appreciate you joining me for the stream tonight. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I'm live again. Going to take one last stroll here through Twitter, see if anything else is going on, any other bits of news before I log off for tonight. Bit of a slow news day. That was picked up by the Matt Dumba trade to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Great trade for the Pens. They get a second-round pick for taking on a player on a bad contract, who then they could probably flip for more picks at the trade deadline next year. Looking here, doesn't look like there's too much else going on. Something interesting, though, I heard about this on 93.7 The Fan, but now that I'm doing one last scroll through X, I am seeing it here. Yahoo Sports, they dropped a ranking. Of course, lots of people on lots of different topics. They're doing quarter century lists. The top 25 teams this quarter century for the NFL, Yahoo Sports dropped that list. Of course, the Steelers, over the last 25 years, 2 Super Bowl champion winning teams. One of them only made the list. The 2008 Pittsburgh Steelers, they were ranked the 17th best sports team or NFL team over the past 25 years. The 05 Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers, the Jerome Bettis Super Bowl, they did not make the list. And you can argue here, just looking at especially the bottom of this list. The top of this list, as you could expect, features, 4 or 5 Patriot teams. They got one of the Seahawks teams up there, 2 of the Kansas City Chiefs teams. That's all expected. Also, a couple Ravens teams from 2000 and 2019. But the Steelers in 08, they were ranked 17th. They are just ahead of the 05 Indianapolis Colts. And they are just behind the 2013 Denver Broncos. I don't know, but I'd have to make an argument that the 05 Steelers should at least be on here somewhere. I know that it was, a young Big Ben, and, the defense still was a developing one at that time. It wasn't as dominant, I think Joey Porter was your top defender at that time, but still, though, I think you can make an argument, that the '05 Steelers, they could be somewhere in the 20s here. I mean, you got the 2022 Bills, the 2015 Panthers, the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the '09 New Orleans Saints. I think majority of those teams made the Super Bowl but lost. So I'm not saying that the list should be, top 25 Super Bowl winners of the last, century, but, don't you think you can put the Super Bowl champion Steelers on there somewhere above one of these teams that lost? It's just my take on it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that that is going to wrap it up for the evening. Not seeing anything else here, so we will be back tomorrow night. We'll wrap up the week. It'll be probably another quick Friday stream because there will be no new Pirate news to talk about. They are off tonight, probably already in Minnesota as we speak, and we will talk about what they're possibly going to do in the next series, and any other news that so happens to come along the way. Today, talked about Matt Dumba getting traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Paul Skenes probably going to be out of here when the lockout happens in the MLB in 2020. Hello? Something buzzed in my ear just now. We have news or sound? Okay. I have no idea if you fine folks can hear me. Hopefully you can. But that's going to wrap it up there for the day. So, join me back here tomorrow. Appreciate you all for joining me. We'll talk any new news that happens to come across. If not, it'll be a quick one tomorrow night, wrapping up the week. So thank you all for the last time. Please like and share this video. Also comment on it after the fact. Let's help grow the numbers of the channel here. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and turn on notifications so that you know when I am live again. Thank you all for joining me. Have a good rest of your Thursday night. We'll see you back here tomorrow night, wrapping up the week of Pittsburgh sports news. Peace.